Alright, you guys, I'm getting set up right now to paint my first section of this color wheel. So I chose a primary color, red, and I'm getting my black and white together. Of course, I've also got my water to the side here. You just can't see it. A paper towel because we never paint with a watery brush. And we're cleaning our brush because we can never have black and white meet, or you have gray. You don't have a pure tint or a pure shade. Now, some of my students, if they have a complex design, maybe something more complicated than this, will oftentimes go through and label out their pieces of the pie. So, for example, I'm going to make all of this inside heart shape here my tints, so that's the white. So I might label it with like a little T everywhere so I don't get mixed up. And maybe out here I'm going to do all shades, so I'm going to go through each section and write a little S to remind myself. That helps me keep my colors from getting mixed up. So painting in my color red, yellow, and blue are going to be easy because all you're doing is taking that color straight out of the bottle. You guys have to make all of your other colors for this assignment, so please don't let me catch you using the orange can or the green can or the purple. You need to learn to make those colors. You get far more realistic natural colors by mixing your colors than by taking them straight out of the can. Look at that orange. You'll notice it sitting on the counter. It's like really vibrant. That's not a realistic orange. By making our own colors, you get something more realistic, and it's super important for your art skills. So stay inside your lines here. Your cleanness with your paint counts for making your design work. Now moving into shades. So that is my color with black. Remember, the color is weaker than the black, so I'm just going to take a little pinprick and mix that into my puddle of red. Might want to go a little darker. Try to be consistent with the darkness of your shades so that it sort of matches all the way around your color wheel. I'm going to paint in my shade. After I'm finished with this shade, really, really important that I wash my brush, because if I went straight to making a tint right now, I'll end up with gray. I'll also be frustrated because I'll just never get a nice bright tint. So taking my brush to the side here, mix it off, dry it with my paper towel. Now white and red. Red is really strong compared to white, so I'm going to take my white puddle, set it over here to the side. Take a little pinprick of that red, not too much, and mix it in there until I have a nice pretty pink that I like for my tint. When you're satisfied with that, I'm going to go ahead and paint it in. Be careful whenever you're marking up your color wheel. Like I labeled my tints and shades. I hope you noticed that I labeled them really lightly. Tempera paint is not the strongest paint in the world. It's a little thin, and so your letters will show through if you draw them really dark. So try to use just a number 2 pencil and draw lightly if you're going to label things out. So one section of my color wheel is done here. You may choose at this point to move on and do your other pure colors or your primary colors. So maybe you want to just grab the blue can of paint, or maybe you want to grab the yellow can of paint. I'm going to move on to mixing some colors here. I'm actually going to go ahead and stop the video so you can see this in chunks. You understand how to do one section of the color wheel now. So I'll pause the video here. I'm going to make a third video actually, to show you how we're going to start mixing our colors.